Hello and welcome to the Big Think Dimension, the only gaming podcast for the modern gigabrain gamer. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me, as always, are unlike co-hosts, KZ Excellent from KZExcellent.com.
I like baritones.
And Mr. Feel from Mr. Feel's Wild Ride.
This is the most impressive podcast I've ever seen. It's mine.
Unfortunately, I've killed Bob. I sacrificed him to the Dark Lord Satan to get my powers, and now I'll curse mankind because it's somehow their fault.
Yeah.
So it'll just be the three of us this episode. How you guys doing?
I'm alive.
I'm doing all right.
Alive's a pretty good status. Bob wishes for that right now.
He's trapped in the void prison.
He's in one of those things from Brave Fencer Musashi. Dan doesn't have the sword to let him out.
God damn it, I knew I should have gotten further. So I guess I'll talk about what I've been playing. I've been playing about 39 different Castlevania games. We'll go ahead and take this from the top.
Oh man.
Nah, I'm just gonna hit the highlights. So for this Castlevania month, we are actually doing 3 different versions of Symphony. We're doing the PS1 version, the Saturn version with Maria, and the PSP version with Maria. And it was my first time seeing basically both of those other weird ones, the Maria modes. Because in Symphony on PlayStation, we play as Alucard. And then they added Maria to the Saturn version, which came out like a year and 2 months later. She has a fucking spirit gun as her default attack. She shoots a
worm.
Gun. She shoots a
Yeah,
goddamn
I've seen videos of her just shredding the bosses.
It is ridiculous.
Tearing them into little chunks.
She does a flying kick that guarantees a crit. It is so good. She tears so much ass through that castle. And then when they went to port the game to Dracula X Chronicles on the PSP, as a part of that collection, where it's a 3D remake of Rondo, the original Rondo, and Symphony of the Night, they added Maria again, but it is completely different from the Saturn one. So her text, yeah. So instead of shooting a spirit gun in that one, mild spoilers here, she throws birds.
Oh, because that's her normal weapon in Rondo.
In Rondo, but this time it is because she's a full-grown woman in the PSP one in Dracula X Chronicles. She throws owls instead of the tiny birds from Rondo. So she's throwing like Castlevania 3 looking owls. It's really cool. And she's not broken levels of overpowered, which is a bit of a shame, but it's pretty interesting. I hadn't seen it before, and it's really funny for everyone in that game, the Saturn one. Everyone in it but Alucard tears ass through that castle. Alucard's just working room to room like, hopefully I find some good equipment here. Meanwhile, Maria just did a flying kick through the goddamn room.
Yeah, and I know that Richter is like yeet and shoryukening up
Yes.
like giant spans that Alucard can't get through.
He's doing slide kick jumps through 17 enemies as he does an uppercut through Dracula's skull. It's really great. One of the nice things about Dracula X Chronicles, and thus the Symphony of the Night on it, they redubbed it, and the person who plays Dracula is the very same man who plays Dio in JoJo's. So there's something really delightful about Dracula and Symphony of the Night being Dio. Me and Bob are like, so do you think it was a career goal to be Dracula as much as he can, or did Dio just fall into his lap after he pointed out his performance in Symphony?
They're like, hey, look at me. I seem like the kind of guy who would be the Lord of Darkness.
And they're like, yeah, okay. We were going to go with Vic, but... but aside from that we've recorded just about every video for this month. We only have about 6 left to record. The funniest shit is when we come up with a gimmick or a running gag in a video that releases later in the month than the last video we recorded with that bit in it, which comes out before it.
Oh, that's the best, though.
You have to solve.
Wait, you didn't say that the guy who I forgot. You didn't say that the guy who voices him is fucking Patrick Seitz.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, it's English Dio.
Yeah, it's English Dio.
Wow, he really does just voice people who get owned.
And Jiren.
Jiren gets owned pretty hard.
Leave Dracula to me.
I feel like Dracula would lecture me about how attacks that exploit weakness are not true strength.
Yup.
But yeah, no, it's there's a lot of interesting things we cover this month, like Otomedius Excellent with Kokoro Belmont, who makes your heart go doki doki with her flying shmup gameplay.
Oh, I own that.
I see you're a man of culture as well.
It was $9 on Amazon for the big deluxe one that had the soundtrack and the pillowcase, so I bought it.
Yep. No, that's
That pillowcase is like it's not even a waifu pillowcase, it's just a normal pillowcase, but it's unusable.
Oh my god, why?
It's so cheap that it's almost like sandpaper in texture.
Yeah, that sounds about
what they deserve.
Yeah, no, it matches up the gameplay perfectly.
Shout out to Mike Fahey of Kotaku.com, who did that incredible video unboxing Otomedius Excellent that everyone on planet Earth has ever made fun of.
Oh.
Is he the dude who tattooed the lolly on his arm?
Yes. I was about to say, shout out to him for having a tattoo on his forearm of Etna from Disgaea and thinking he has any right to come at anyone for anything ever.
Look, Etna is very cool.
On his other arm is Jazz Jackrabbit.
Okay, now I'm out. I can't do that's a combo. One is called Wombo, the other is combo.
Happy feet.
I'm dizzy after that. Yeah, we ended up with the collector's edition as well. I don't think it had the pillowcase, but we ended up with the art book and the soundtrack and stuff. And of course, we got it on the cheap, like recently. Yeah, no, that game's really bad but hilarious, and that video's pretty good if you ask me. But
I like the fact that you just have a weird viewing order now. If you want to get all of the running jokes in sequence, there's the Castlevania machete order.
God, I wish.
You're thinking about it a little bit.
That would be a hilarious playlist, ordered in the way we recorded them. Oh, man.
I'm surprised there wasn't a Belmont in any of the Parodius games.
There is a Belmont or Dracula in Parodius. There are two versions, but because of time constraints and limited slots for days, we weren't gonna do both of them because we could do one of them easily. I believe it was on the SNES, but the other one was on PS1, and that would not be as easy to do. So I decided against it for now. Also, in the last week, I found out that we will not be able to do the Castlevania. What was it? Castlevania puzzle. Symphony of the Night Encore. Wait, Encore of the Night, which was a terrible puzzle game they made with terribly upscaled, like they used emulator filters, upscaled Symphony of the Night sprites.
Is that where Smooth Richter is from?
Yeah, that's what Smooth Richter is from.
Smooth Richter?
Yeah, the fucking upscaling algorithm they use is disgusting and terrible, and I don't know why they did it.
DKZ.
Yeah, feel free to post that in the Discord. I'll put it on screen. It's bad. It's not okay.
Oh man. Man, I love some Super Eagle.
I mean, that is not what that one's from, but
when I first downloaded
but it looks similar, yeah.
Z-SNES in 2002.
The definitive SNES emulators, even now.
Every comment was like, man, you got to turn on Super Eagle to make the games look better. And I was like, wow.
That was me, but 2008.
That was never me. You people disgust me.
I'm like, yo, it looks HD.
God.
Forgive me, I was 15 at the time.
I had friends who swung from that end of the spectrum of I need it to look smoother in HD to the other end where they're like, I need it to blur more in HD. Like, just literally smudge the shit out of it. And I was like, I've always been here at I want sharp pixels. I watched a video.
You've always been broken.
I've always had an eye for quality. I watched a video the other day that was like, let me explain why composite on the Genesis is the intended way to play it. And I'm like, okay, I'll entertain this. And in the video, he's like, this is how it looks. And then he shows you a picture he photoshopped to dither it. And I'm like, that is not how it looks, motherfucker. You show an actual direct composite capture. And at a different point, he uses his relatively low quality camera to film his CRT TV, and he's like, see how it blurs together? And I'm like, you're not filming it right, so everything's blurring, kind of. Ugh. So
I'm glad you're watching good content.
Yeah, I always watch content for enjoyability. That's what I do.
Balance for lean.
Yeah. Like when you get angry, that's enjoyable to you.
It makes me feel alive. It's the only way I know. No, I
tend to do things that are fun to keep myself alive, but you do you, man. I respect it.
Dan's like anything to ward off the Overwatch.
Literally anything would be better than playing Overwatch. Even hours.
Just hit me up. We'll do a couple rounds.
We
do
will
our
not,
placements.
We will not do a couple. For one, placements is 10 matches.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but a Dan video games couple means, all right, one more. 25 later. Oh, Feel's still beating me. Still doing that Majin 21 level 3.
Hey, man, if you recall the last couple of times, I've been like, okay, I'm good. It feels like, no, we haven't hit 10.
Well, if we do 8, we might as well do 10. Gotta be definitive.
And then me and Bob are just in the corner crying.
Human beings like round numbers.
Also, you play Dan so long that when you leave, every time we try to rematch, it breaks the room.
Yeah, the room's just broken by like the intense clash. It's really great.
It's very funny.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about for Castlevania month. Nothing else is leaping out at me as a thing worth noting. I'm very excited to record the Castlevania Judgment video later this month with Hale Zeon.
I'm sure he's a big fan.
Honestly, it's made by the people who made Bloody Roar. So I like it in as much as I like Bloody Roar, where I go, this isn't a well-made fighting game, but it sure as shit is enjoyable.
Bloody Roar should come back. Konami needs to bring that back.
I mean, I agree. I'm with you all the way. I genuinely really like Bloody Roar. Something about exploding into a form and knocking your enemy back is really great. And Gohan's
they own Rumble Roses too. Just make Bloody Roses.
Oh no! So then they turn into sexy rabbits and they wrestle, and I'm like, Feel, you had me. You had me for a bit. But no, I've actually never played Rumble Roses. Have you ever played it, Feel?
Yes.
Okay.
It's bad.
Yeah, no, Bob and I, that was on our list.
Slightly embarrassed.
But Bob and I put that on our Giving Games a Chance list. At some point, we're going to do it. Because I don't think
Wouldn't
either
that be
of
the
us
weekly
played it.
beating?
It could be, but I don't know. I find it.
But I was also like, didn't understand how wrestling games worked, so maybe now I would get more out of it than just mash the buttons and hope something happens.
Maybe her titty pop out.
Did you know that Sony made a Tony Hawk-like game right after Tony Hawk's Pro Skater came out? It was called a Grind Session. That's what it was called. Grind Session for the PS1. I've never played that. I really need to. I really need to. Because the visuals look vastly better than Tony Hawk. But I'm sure the gameplay is just
This looks like the exact same fucking game, except bad.
Yeah,
Probably
right?
better than Tony Hawk 5.
It even has one of the exact same levels.
Oh yeah, no, Burnside is a skate park, so they're both based on the same skate park, which is hilarious.
I don't know about this looking better. Oh wait, this was recorded in an emulator, so I'm sure it has like weird shit on it.
Yeah, I assure you there's a way to quantify how much better it looks, and man, that would be a funny video to make. Not the weirdest video someone has insisted or insinuated I should make today. Someone earlier in the Discord was denying that Super Mario 3D World only had 8 directional input. They're like, look, this video has them going in more than 8 directions. And I'm like, yeah, but your input only works in 8 directions, which is infuriating. Because
that game's great.
Because it's a 3D platformer. You know what, KZ? I think that game is enjoyable to some extent. I don't hold it remotely in the same pantheon as 64, Galaxy, or Odyssey, but it's its own very different thing, and I appreciate what it's going for. Yeah, I would give it like an upper 8, lower 9. I think Bob would give it a 6. Bob really fucking hates that game.
Well, it's a good thing he isn't here. He has no rights now.
But yeah, to hear that game
Bob's just afraid of Meowser.
No, we both love 300 frame per second Meowser. It's the best. The thought that game got Game of the Year irritated the piss out of both of us, because the thought that was the best game that came out that year was fucking insane, and started to build in my brain this thought that modern game journalists are insanely nostalgic for Nintendo games, because they kept ranking what was it? It was 2 different Wii U games that came out that weren't that incredible, where they were like, it's the best gaming has ever been, Game of the Year. And I was like, holy shit.
I'm someone who, like, with Mario games, 3D Mario games specifically, went, these are fun, not my most favorite thing, but that one just, it hit me in a certain way that I'm like, I really like this one.
There's definitely an appeal to that game where it's like, here, go in a straight line. You're not exploring. You're just going through an obstacle course, and there's like 150 levels.
And I liked collecting the green stars in that, and the soundtrack was insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the soundtracks are really good, and the graphics are incredible. God, the soundtrack's probably better than the game, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Did that come out the same year that Giant Bob gave Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year?
I think that was the year when they had to decide that nobody was happy.
Then it was the year that was all bad.
Oh, no. Shadow of Mordor.
I feel like the last 3 years of the PS3 360 gen gave so many game journalists Stockholm Syndrome. Or maybe Stockholm Syndrome is wrong, but like they killed their souls.
Okay, so...
Like, wow, I feel alive looking at this game. Like there's joy in the world, and I'm not walking down a hallway.
Super Mario 3D World is 2013. Shadow of Mordor is 2014.
Ah, okay.
So what we're saying is Super Mario 3D World is better than the final year of that generation and every launch title for the new generation, which
I think that's pretty accurate.
It's very good.
It's complicated. My feelings on this are very complicated.
I can feel your bitterness growing with each sentence.
No, I'm actually smiling right now. I wish I had a live feed, because you could see my eyes darting around as I'm trying to parse this out.
Oh, I remember.
You're like, where's my gun?
2013 is the year when fucking Gerstmann betrayed me and gave Bioshock Infinite Game of the Year.
Really? Really? That was
a group thing, though.
Oh yeah, that was 2013. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, because it came out the same year The Last of Us did. Huh.
I mean, not good, The Last of Us. The Last of Us is fine. Bioshock Infinite is distinctly not.
See, that's the thing. I've actually never even played Bioshock Infinite, and every day I sit there and go, someday I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go through it, and it's going to be
I know it has.
fantastic.
I know the puzzle it has in the beginning of the game with the paper, and that people get really mad about it.
It's not even a puzzle. I don't know why people get mad at it. That game has much bigger problems, like the fact it has randomized loot.
This is how you know Phil and I are kindred spirits, because we both often go into the tangent of, you aren't mad for the right reason.
Well, it isn't a puzzle, so I don't know why people frame it like one. It's trying to beat the game up for something that it isn't.
Yeah.
It's dunk culture.
The bigger problem with Bioshock Infinite is it has random equipment, but no equipment screen. When you pick up a new piece that for a slot you already have, it just replaces the old one.
You didn't need that old one.
And the benefits they give you are random.
But yeah, this actually mirrors my own feelings on Mighty Number 9. When the game came out, people were like, there were multiple reviews where people were like, this just proves how tired the platformer genre is. Side-scrollers aren't viable. They aren't good anymore. And I'm like, that's not the fucking problem here, you idiot.
I mean, people tried to do the exact same thing when Ukulele came out. And I was like, it's just not good.
Yeah, no. We also
Can't
have
do
that
that every
problem.
time a genre doesn't have as many games and then a bad one comes out.
The funny thing is, ukulele was the starting point, as far as I can recall, where Bob started to try to say that, like, to him, every 3D platformer basically that isn't Mario is gutter trash. So
I'm gonna eat them.
Banjo-Kazooie's bad. Every game by Rare is bad.
He's gonna be real sad one of these Sundays when I force you to play Banjo games.
I think it's real funny that
not
like
gonna be alone.
they do the thing where like this genre just doesn't
I had a
work.
feeling you'd hate it too.
But then they whirl around and like praise like the 2D platformer equivalent. They turn around and praise an Inti Creates game
Ugh.
Kino.
or like Axiom Verge, which is completely unremarkable in every conceivable way.
Thank you. Yes, it is. It's really bad. It's the most cynical Metroidvania ever made because it's literally just Metroid, but with a fucking.
But starring Pro Jared.
But no, like
No!
it's a post Invader Zim. Like that's the style of writing.
And that's coming back.
It's like some weird hybrid between Zim and fucking what's the name of that series? Rick and Morty. It's like it thinks it's so much fucking smarter than it is and edgier and cooler, and it's really not. Like the writing doesn't do much to elevate that game above being a Metroidvania, and the gameplay mechanics really don't either.
I feel like I should just somehow blackmail you into playing the game Unepic on Steam.
That sounds disgusting.
That sounds epic.
No, it doesn't.
It is a procedurally generated Metroidvania starring a D&D nerd who has a goatee and wears a hoodie.
Hey, KZ, what have you played over the last week?
Aside from my marathon stuff, I started playing the Castlevania collection that released today.
Oh, cool.
So I've been going through Bloodlines, which I'm having a lot of fun with.
It's a good game.
And overall, I think the collection's pretty solid from what I've experienced so far. The menus are a lot better than that Rondo Symphony of the Night thing they put out.
You should see our Dracula X Chronicles video when that goes up later this month, so that way you can see the lighting effect and how it originally worked in that version. And then when they ported it, they tried to make it work again, and it doesn't at all.
Oh, no.
Because the menus have that weird thing, yeah.
The menus are real nice. Like, when you select a game on the left side, it gives you, like, the back of the box, like, description of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice and polished. I went into the collection, like, a bonus book, where they had, like, an ebook of, like, various different little blurbs about the game. And they said, we have 2 exclusive major people behind Castlevania, like, key members, interviews here. And they had one that I believe was related to the games. And the other one is just the dude who made the Castlevania cartoon on fucking Netflix.
Cool.
Fucking
Warren
Adi,
Ellis?
whatever his name is. No, the other guy, Shackner?
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they did a Q&A thing.
Great. Yeah.
I was like, well, they can't get Iga for this. So I was like, I wonder...
Yeah, they can't get Iga, and they can't dig up the corpses and reanimate them of the rest of the people who worked on the franchise.
Do you mean, or were you trying to say Adi Shankar?
Yes, Adi Shankar and Michiru Yamane were the interviews that they picked up for this collection.
I'm glad they were interviewed Michiru. She worked on one game on that collection, and it has a great soundtrack.
It's a good soundtrack.
Bloodlines has a very good soundtrack.
Look, all the others are either dead because Konami abused them, or they're sealed in the Konami mines under hundreds of tons of gravel and can't get out to do an interview.
Honestly, as far as I know, everyone who worked on all of the rest of those are fucking gone, or like at Square. Like the last I heard, the only people who haven't been accounted for got out of the game industry entirely.
Oh, I see. The person interviewing is Castlevania series producer, and they didn't put a name as far as I can read in here.
Holy fuck.
It's just series producer. He's currently supervising production on the series as a whole, including the recent Netflix show.
Good for him. I'm glad they got someone to do that.
Okay, so the original director of Castlevania, the very first one, the first 3.
Yeah.
He was demoted to being an employee in one of their arcades.
Yeah.
Because the future Castlevanias were not successful enough.
Yeah, he made the first 3 Castlevania games, and they had a habit of firing everyone or demoting everyone who didn't make profitable games. So he left. And then
that'd be like if Nomura is working at the Final Fantasy Cafe because Kingdom Hearts 3 didn't sell enough.
That would be like if Miyamoto was working at a fucking Mario museum because the second Mario game was shit.
I mean, I'd like it more if he was working there nowadays than staying away from game development.
I do like they included a wonderful history of Castlevania chronology timeline.
Real quick, on that note with Miyamoto, because people don't realize this. Apparently, other than Star Fox, he was working on some game with Q Games that got canceled. Q Games was working on a Miyamoto pet project that got canceled at some point. So that's what he's been doing, I guess. Star Fox Zero and that.
He does a lot of great stuff that time.
Mm-hmm.
He made Mario.
Are you crying?
No.
Okay.
I didn't like Paper Mario enough.
I saw some shit on Twitter, and it's my goal to never bring up shit on Twitter on this podcast, but for once I'm going to put my foot down. Mario RPG is not a D-class game.
What? Someone would have to be horribly brain damaged and colorblind to say that Mario RPG was anything but an A or S rank Mario game.
Right. I agree. It's in the upper echelon for sure.
I'm very proud. I did not misquote this time. Yeah, I was playing that collection. It's cool. That's it for me.
Cool. I have yet to check out that collection. I'll get to do it after I'm done rushing out this podcast, as in today's podcast, not this big think dimension. And I think we're going to stream it on Friday.
I'd say it's about as good as like those Mega Man ones. It just doesn't have the extra challenge stuff in it.
Oh, okay.
But it has a lot of
Which was lame anyway. The extra challenges were also weak.
I enjoyed them.
I liked the boss ones, but it's like, we just took a bunch of screens from different levels and mashed them together. Have fun. I'm like...
I don't know, Phil. I watched you play Mega Man 8, and you were pretty bad at it.
Oh, I missed him playing Mega Man 8. Jeez.
Mega Man 8 is not a bad game.
Mega Man 8 is great. You're just really bad at it.
The fact that I can be good at every other game in the franchise, but bad at that one is a problem with that game.
We're including 7 because 7 fucking sucks. 7 was
good.
7 was rushed out in 3 fucking months, Phil.
Yes.
It took 3 months to make a masterpiece.
Game.
Mega Man and Bass is a fucking tire fire, Phil.
Mega Man and Bass is a tire fire. Mega Man 7 is a good game.
Mega Man
I agree with the statements.
7 is garbage, and someday I will become giga-brained enough to reverse engineer that fucking game to show you how shit it is. But for now, I'll just say it's bad.
What happened to you having a new appreciation for it the last time you played it? What happened in the past year?
Look, I haven't... I love the music in that game. I love the visuals in that game. Your sprite is still way too fucking huge.
I don't mind it. It's
a big
just a little
adventure.
bit different.
Your jump speed is wrong. It's
not exactly. It doesn't feel exactly the same as the other games, but neither does 11.
Neither
does
innovation. Neither does 8 or 11, but they feel fine. Whatever.
7 feels fine. I beat that game with no issues except for the nightmarish final boss that Inafune inflicted upon me.
Yeah, no, that final boss is fucking horseshit, and I have no idea why they did that to people.
I mean, being told that you can shoot the springs to make them bounce higher certainly helped.
How about this, okay? This is, to put this into perspective, also on an earlier note, I would like to note, Banjo-Kazooie is fine. I don't hate it. There is ambition in what it does. I don't hate it like Bob does. Do I think it's as good as Mario 64?
We'll get more of your thoughts
no,
when we do Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie on Avenging My Youth.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they have the rare collection, so it'll be easy.
Oh, my God.
Xbox One X enhancements, 4K. Bleh.
But on the topic of Mega Man games,
of course,
I would say that Mega Man 7 might be better than Mega Man 1.
It's a hell of a lot better than 1.
I'm pretty sure it's better than 1. I don't know that I would put it above 2.
It's in my top 3.
Really?
It's not in my top 3. I think
KZ?
it might be 4 or 5 for me.
My top 3, surprisingly, I believe, is I think it's 6, 7, and 8. Though I might switch 6 and 7 around.
So 7 may be your favorite. Okay. But yeah.
No, number 3 is 6. Number 2 is 7. Number 1 is 8.
I'm gonna go ahead and say 5 and 6 are pretty top tier, like the absolute peak. Below that, you get like 11. 4 is somewhere in here, and then you start to hit like it goes 8, and then the fucking rest of them. Then again, I do enjoy Mega Man 10. I feel it's a little joyless. Something about it is not not trying.
Here's my problems with 9 and 10. Here's my problems with 9 and 10, which I'll have to fucking go through again soon because I'm to 9.
Good.
Every single level in 9 has at least one part that feels mean-spirited and hateful.
Yeah, it's true.
Like the helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's this one part of Jewel Man's level where it's just the worst jump in the world.
Yep, it is. I know exactly. You're talking about the swinging platform in front of the spike wall with the door right below it.
Yep, and the spike wall, and there's spikes on the ceiling of the passage too.
Yep, it's really fucking malicious.
And then there's the half of Plugman's level is Yoku blocks, which is longer than any other Yoku block segment in the series, I think.
Yeah. 9 comes off as weird. We made this NES hard syndrome.
And then 10 feels like they went, okay, we can't make it NES hard anymore. So what do we do? And the answer was nothing. I can't think of a single level gimmick or anything memorable from 10 at all.
Got Sheep Man.
10's just got really good music since it got all the composers from the series to come back for one song each. And I like the boss theming. And honestly, I do like Sheep Man just because of his song and the...
Yeah, Sheep Man is the only one I can remember. Isn't the guy that's a sword from 10?
Yeah, isn't it Blade Man?
Like his face is just a sword. I think it's Blade Man.
Yeah, he's Blade Man. He throws knives.
I
get 10 and Unlimited conflated a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. They're both
which I think
games.
says a lot about 10.
Sheep Man's pretty cool.
But my problem with 8 is just that 8 feels like a more extreme thing that like Mega Man X4 is really good, but there are parts where it's like you did this because you could on PS1 more so than it would be good.
How do you mean?
Like, here's like a set piece that might not be the most fun thing in the world to play, but it feels like they wanted to do it because they finally could.
You talking like the mech moments where you're getting shot by lasers by the flying fortress above you, or?
Yeah, stuff like that, or the jet bike segment.
I enjoy the jet bike segment.
I do enjoy that jet bike segment.
Bob
you know what I
hates
don't enjoy?
What do you not enjoy?
Wily Fortress 1 in Mega Man 8, which might be the most malicious level in any Mega Man game.
Wide.
So 1, yes. 2, latency makes that so much harder. 3, you need the upgrade. It's all 3 of those. It is really rough. That is clearly not okay. I don't understand why they made it that hard. And also you need the upgrade, and also latency really makes it suck.
I also don't understand why Thunderclaw doesn't fucking work.
I was watching you use that Thunderclaw thing, and I'm like, what's he doing? I've had no problems the last time I played it.
Yeah, I can't recall having any issue with Thunderclaw.
Thunderclaw is the grappling hook.
Yeah.
And if you don't hit the thing exactly with the tip of it, you miss.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but if I'm playing something
that's what the claw is.
If I'm playing another game with a grappling hook like that, if any part of your grappling hook hits it, it catches.
That sounds unrealistic to me.
I think in Bionic Commando, both the original and the remakes, the chain part doesn't grab stuff, but you know, I get the frustration.
It functions more like Castlevania, so I'm thinking of like Super Castlevania 4.
I mean, to be fair, Super Castlevania 4 is pretty fucking kino. It's a good game.
But I don't hate Mega Man 8, but I definitely never want to play it ever again.
Oh, that sounds like you hate it.
Yeah, that sounds...
I've played it 3 times. That's 3 times enough for a lifetime.
Wow.
There's only one part of 8 that I would say I think is bad, and I just don't like it
the
all.
The maze?
Yes, it's the fucking Astro Man Maze.
See, that's another thing. So, it's like, parts of Mega Man 4 annoy me. a lot more parts of 8 annoy me, like the part in Clown Man stage where you're climbing the blocks, and the hammer happens and the blocks do something, and it's like, go in one of these question mark blocks to go up. Which one? Trial and error.
I'm just noticing that I'm getting lucky on a lot of segments because he's just talking about things I've never had problems with or ran into bad stuff with.
Or feels easily put on tilt by 8 because he hates it.
I don't know. This is the same dude who fucking quit a game over a hallway, so I'm willing to believe that he's just picky about everything.
I didn't hate it when I picked it up. I didn't even play it until last year. You
didn't play Mega Man 8 until 2018?
No, until that collection came out.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't big into Mega Man.
I played it when the PS2, the Anniversary Collection came out.
Yeah, I never bought that.
That was great because when you reach Wily Fortress 1 in 8, they're like, you've unlocked the Mega Man cartoon episode 1.
Because they realized you're probably not going to beat the game.
Bit of a weird requirement to unlocking it, but, thought it was neat.
Yeah, it's neat.
I really like a lot of the stuff in 8, though. There's so much stuff in it that I like that it bothers me that I hate stuff surrounding it. Like, I like most of the weapons have some sort of platforming usage.
Yeah, like Tengu Man's power.
Like Tengu Man's power. I like the space robot stuff that never came back ever again.
I mean, I prefer that over the future direction that Inti gave it of Robo Enza.
I don't have a problem with that because that's like the peak Astro Boy-esque storytelling. By the way, that was part of what I played this week segment because I played 7, 8.
We made it really cohesive.
Yeah, 7, 8, and 9, you said?
No, 7, 8, and X1.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
X1's still really good. It's probably my favorite X game. I keep waffling between it and X2.
Yeah,
the best intro stage in a video game.
Yeah,
X1's really good. It's almost as good as 8.
I'm more of an X2 guy.
The only part I don't really like about X1 is the platforming segment at the start of Sigma 1, but using the shield power up makes that a non-issue. Also, the boss is terrible. I fucking hate that spider boss so bad.
You're not able to read it fast enough.
My brain is too small to read it fast enough. That is correct.
Yeah, that's me.
I mean, wait, well, real quick, Phil, how are you playing Mega Man X1?
The Mega Man X Legacy Collection.
Oh, the Mega Man X Legacy Collection. Let me look up this Button to Pixel episode on that. Let's see.
Listen, I'm blind, deaf, and have flippers for hands, so I didn't notice.
No, you did notice because it's making your slow brain not be able to deal with the spider boss. So if it was better, you would have an easier time. This is why I keep saying input lag's important.
That collection is one of the few times I've noticed input lag in a non-online game. Because when you try to get that arm upgrade in Flame Mammoth stage, I'm like, I can't do the jump.
I mean,
but I know I can do this jump.
So the X Legacy Collection.
I did that jump real easy on my stream playthrough.
You're on PS4, right?
Yep.
No, PC.
I was.
PC. Were you? Oh man, I have numbers for PC, but they're harder to look up. God damn it.
Load up this YouTube video.
Load up these 17 YouTube videos. It's that simple.
I will concede that I absolutely felt the input latency during Wily 1 in Mega Man 8.
The fucking...
Because there were parts where I hit jump and he did not jump.
Slide. Yeah, I did. I saw a few of those.
Yeah, okay. So Mega Man X1 on the X Legacy Collection on PC is 120 milliseconds of input lag, which is 300% the original input lag.
Also, I'm playing on a modern display. I wasn't playing on the monitor, so there was even more.
Yeah, that's rough because that spider boss does not give you a lot of time to shoot him.
I'm sure that if you ever hold a gun to my head and make me play it on original hardware and then go to the Legacy Collection, I'll go ugh.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a Super NT and then you played that for an hour and then switched to the Legacy Collection, I'm sure that would do it. That's all it really takes, but I understand people not noticing this shit. I mean, most people are playing on really latent displays, and
most people think Assassin's Creed feels fine.
Right, because they have no idea. Like, and that's the thing. Like, when I was a kid, when I was, 17 years old, 16 years old, I played a game that was running at like 300 frames per second, and there was a way to make it run worse. And when it was running at 300 frames per second, I'm like, this feels smoother, but my display only displays 60, so that must be in my head. It was only later that I realized, like much later, that I realized it felt smoother because it literally had less input lag. Like it had a fifth as much input lag, so it felt a lot more responsive. And that's the thing. Most people don't have an A/B comparison with video games. Like most people don't get to play Devil May Cry 5 on the Xbox One in HDR and then switch over to PC with no VSync turned on SDR, which we've done and we have numbers for, but I haven't had time to make a fucking video out of that. Needless to say, PC without VSync on is the best way to fucking play your games, everyone. But, screen tearing sucks dick, so I understand. So get a G-Sync or a what do they call it? What is FreeSync is AMD's version of G-Sync. Get one of those things. Or just don't care. That's fine too. But yeah. So I could totally understand not being able to deal with a fucking spider boss with that much latency bearing down on you. That spider boss gives you such little time to fucking shoot it.
I managed though. I don't even think I got a game over at any point in X1. I think I just one credited it.
Nice.
I didn't one credit 8. I think I had 5 game overs and 2 of them were in Wily Fortress 1, and that's with the upgrade that gives you 4 lives.
I'm trying to think of when we did that live stream playthrough of if we had game overs that weren't Bob exclusively. Bob.
Throwing him under the bus right this instant.
Hey, man.
Well, I had a stupid game over early on because I died in Tengu Man's level, the first one, because I was just like, I can jump against the wind near the end. No, you can't.
That's understandable. I've done that somewhat recently. The wind physics are stronger than you think they are.
Because it pushes you forward less than it keeps you from going back.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
It's stronger when you're going against it than it is when you're going with it, which makes no sense. Like it's adding a different value. It's subtracting a different value from your momentum going against it than it is adding to your momentum going with it. So yeah, that's why it's confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really fun to make that button to pixel Mega Man X Legacy input lag analysis video, and then simultaneously at launch, My Life in Gaming came out with a video where they're like, the input lag's fine. Also, I really like the YouTube videos of people with their cell phone filming them pushing a button. They're like, look, it instantly happens. And I'm not talking they filmed it in slow-mo. I'm talking it's a normal fucking video they made with their phone.
I know what you meant. I press the button and he jumps. There's no latency. It's instantaneous.
It's instantaneous.
Fucking quantum wiring on my controller. Gives me the input before I did it.
Quantum wiring?
Yeah, see, the PlayStation has a reality trapped inside of it. Now, what they did is they split this type of iron atom so that way they could put part of it in the controller and the other part inside of the box. And that's how it has no input lag.
None at all.
None. Nah, 0. Did you play anything else, Feel?
Yeah, since we got so much Final Fantasy VII Remake news, I was like, well, I better replay Final Fantasy VII so I can be all fresh for the remake.
Yeah.
You can tell people, no, you're wrong.
Exactly. So I went and got, because I didn't just want to play it normally again. That'd be like the 4th time. So I went and got the Reunion mod for the PC version, which is a complete retranslation, because Final Fantasy VII's translation...
It's great. Mosey.
Not even that, but it's like, this guy are sick.
That part where Tifa calls Barrett a retard for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's... The amount of times the localization team said shit like that is, like, impressive.
It's like, what are you doing?
People did that. People did that in games in 2010. Have you heard of Nippon Ichi Software of America?
They make great translations.
But somebody completely redid it, and despite the person's FAQ trying to dissuade me from using his mod, I used it anyway. I was able to separate.
Cool. But don't you want to go back for the original experience?
No.
No, the original experience, guys.
The original experience, guys.
Final Fantasy VII is really good. Almost immediately, it's just like, wow, every single person who says this game is overrated is a fucking idiot.
I would like to. I know it may be bad timing, but I'm really glad to tell you guys about me and Agro's new podcast where we shit talk micro fandoms of humanity. episode 1, he's going to shit talk every Final Fantasy VII fan. So please look forward to our new podcast series.
Okay, ain't no law against being wrong.
Can I join? I want to make him upset.
I thought you were going to say, could I be on for an episode to shit talk someone? But no, you just want to be there when he does that.
I'll join when you talk about Final Fantasy IX. I can talk about how it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe of Final Fantasy games.
No, see, check this out. Episode 1, he brings in Final Fantasy VII. Episode 2, you bring in Final Fantasy IX.
Hey, so long as we eventually get to Ratchet Deadlocked, I'm fine.
I'm just...
You know what my favorite part of Final Fantasy IX is? It's when Vivi has a very emotional moment where he learns how to cast fire that's exactly like the one in Final Fantasy IV, except the one in 9 happens for no reason. Remember the one in 4?
Yes. It took a second, but yes.
Sometimes Phil just picks up a club and just starts swinging it at anyone who will get upset in the audience.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And I do remember that moment.
I really like the mysterious silver-haired villain in 9 that totally isn't there because 7 had a mysterious silver-haired villain.
Hey, whoa. Hey, why are you spoiling the content for our upcoming podcast?
Hey, I really enjoy how most Final Fantasies have a logo that's like really integral to the plot, and Final Fantasy IX's is just a crystal. Remember the crystal? I remember the crystal.
Phil, did you do anything else with Final Fantasy VII?
I played it up until about the end of the Wu-Tang market. Is it Wu-Tang? I think it's Wu-Tan.
No, it's Wu-Tai.
Did
you just say Wu-Tang Clan?
Oh, Wu-Tai. No, Wu-Tai is the city. It's the wall market. I got confused
okay.
by all the...
Wu-Tang.
But I played up to there. Final Fantasy VII is really good. Square Enix tried very hard. I don't think they've tried that hard on a game before or since. Because there's a lot of stuff where, like, it'll do, like, a camera pan, and then you'll be running on top of an FMV, which they did a little bit in 8, and I don't think they did very much at all in 9. I think they did it, like, twice in 9. And they were like, this is hard. We don't want to do it no more. Just an incredible soundtrack that sets the mood for everything. And then you get really good moments like when Aeris is being chased by Shinra soldiers down below you in the church, so you try to push barrels from the rafters onto them, but I don't know which ones to push, so I miss every single time. And Aeris is just like, what are you doing?
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you? I wonder what she would have said about you in the original localization.
Oh no!
In the retranslation, she's just like disappointed and confused. But I think in the original, she was like going, "What the fuck?" I also played both DLCs for A Hat in Time, which, boy, A Hat in Time sure is. If Mario Sunshine wasn't bad, it's even structured the same way.
Oh, so it has one level, you say?
Yeah, Sunshine isn't very good.
It has multiple levels, but each level has like a plot, and you do it like going through the plot. And the end of each plot chunks gives you a collectible, but there isn't dozens and dozens. There isn't 70 additional things for some reason that involve replaying through horrible levels, collecting coins.
I like coins.
But the new DLC is really good. $7. It's about 2 hours long. They fucking knocked it out of the park in terms of visual design. I can't believe how good that DLC looked. It's just, the concept was, what if like a Japanese underground, like cyberpunk-esque setting populated entirely by cats, and then they did that as hard as they possibly could. They made like 30 unique graffiti textures.
That's intense.
So you see like what could be your wallpaper on your PC on the wall just constantly, just doing the levels. And it also has a really great Easter egg that I got. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But if you've probably seen it on Twitter by the time this podcast comes out, since it's a reference to the Yakuza series.
I have not seen it. I do not follow enough Yakuza fans, clearly.
I also did the other one that was free, which is like an Arctic cruise setting, and that one was also pretty good. I tried to do the seal the deal stuff, but then it was like, here's 120 challenge missions, and I'm like, I don't care enough to do any of these.
Look, everyone has that line where it's like, no.
The very first one is just like, do this other mission, but you take damage on a timer unless you're fast enough. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But trying it was the point that made me realize the Sunshine parallel, because the first one is like, in like a tropical-esque town that's full of lava for that level.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is like if Sunshine wasn't a bad game.
Well, here's the thing, though. It has multiple levels that have multiple themes, and as such, it is nothing like Sunshine. Sunshine is one level. It has one theme.
Now, Dan, I mean, you have the tropical town.
Uh-huh.
You have the tropical town.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have the beach.
Uh-huh.
Then you have the beach with a hotel.
Uh-huh.
Then you have the harbor.
Yes.
Then you have the harbor with a conch shell in it.
Yeah.
And then you have the treetop tropical town. So that's all. They're all distinct, Dan.
No. Oh my God.
I'm professional.
That was all I played.
Okay. That's cool. Well, I guess that means we should move on to talking about the news.
Oh shit, Dan.
What?
I have some breaking news.
What's the breaking
that is
news?
not related to video games at all.
Oh, well, but are you sure it's fit to bring up on this podcast then?
It's related to our content.
Oh, what's up with our
You remember
content?
when we did a Twilight Curse content episode?
I try not to, but yes.
Yeah. The actor who played Edward, Robert Pattinson, is now going to be the next Batman. Which I think is hilarious. I just want to point it out because it's tangentially related to us now. We're in a Batman film.
I don't believe you.
It just broke like 20 minutes ago.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it did. He's right. But there's even more important news.
What's that feel?
What?
The Pod Lords.
Oh, fuck. The Pod Lords. Are any of them from Twilight?
Yes.
The Pod Lords for this episode of the Big Think Dimension are Danny Richardson, Not Gak, Lady Popcorn, Ely Broyles, Bam Madrigal, Ryan Benson, Vo, or Vox? It's an AU, so I'm gonna go with Vo. Corey Brown, and Dank Mormons. Thank you very much to our Pod Lords, who mostly joined up in the last few days because we announced a new goal.
Phil, what is this goal?
First, thank you, Pod Lords, for your support.
Thank you, Pod Lord.
But this goal is, if we reach $2,000 on the podcast Patreon, patreon.com/gbpodcasts, we will do a special monthly podcast where we watch every single Dragon Ball movie and rank them.
This is mostly KZ's fault, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was on last week's episode. I made the joke and gave the exact amount.
And two people came out of the woods and are like, Dan, when are you going to do it? And I'm like, oh no.
We're less than $700 away.
The two different people have said things that were podcast goals.
Oops. The summer of awesome.
But yeah, so we're going to go through every Dragon Ball movie, including TV specials, because why not?
Yeah.
And that includes original Dragon Ball, not just Dragon Ball Z or Super.
Or that one GT special.
And that one GT special. And we're going to rank them all.
There's a lot. Oh man, they're getting their money's worth on this one.
Every episode, we're going to update our lists to tell you what the new ranking is. And because we don't have the time to have Game of the Year every month, we're each going to have our own lists, not one collective list, because Jesus.
No, that should be the last episode where you have to fight the death.
It's the death cast. Yes. This will be our Budokai Tenkaichi.
I'm trying to come up with a name for that episode that's a fusion of Tree of Might and World's Strongest.
Devil May Cry 5?
I mean, you're not wrong. Dragon Ball Movie Podcast Review - Devil May Cry 5. You know, we had a really positive reaction to this podcast series announcement. A lot of people were very excited over it, but some people weren't, per se. Some people were hoping we never do it.
They must not be real Dragon Ball fans.
Let's see. I just want to make sure I get the quote verbatim, so that way I don't misrepresent.
True. I've made mistakes in the past, but I'm getting better.
After this was announced, with the description being a monthly Dragon Ball movie review podcast series where we will rank them all individually, Mr. Hale Zeon said, "I've never not wanted something so strongly before." Look at him trying to press divergent opinions on Dragon Ball. What a fascist.
Nobody can know the secret that most of these are probably good.
Oh, I thought that was going the other way.
Now, hey, this is gonna be great. You gotta make sure to watch the original, like, dub cuts of those, where the Cooler movie has Disturbed tracks in it.
Yes, I agree. That's the definitive way to watch these, sure.
Yup.
I'm gonna go ahead and say, because of his reticence to let us rank these, we should also include his ranks as a separate document, because he went through them.
That sounds like a really good segment where you have him write his review, give his rank, and then we critique his review and rank on each episode.
I'm sure he would love that. I'm sure he would love not being involved in the recording, but have us express opinions about his opinions.
He's the voice of God, of the God of destruction up above.
He already did that for Super versus GT.
I mean, he did that. He did the that was a segment on GT versus Super, the now defunct series where we only had to get 13 episodes in for me to stop defending GT in the least. Because at a certain point, there are pedophiles in the plot, and I can't defend it anymore. But yeah, so that's a thing. Also, he went through all the movies just last year on Twitter.gov and ranked them all and gave them out of 10-point reviews. What's our scale again, Mr. Phil? You had an idea for our review scale?
We're going to rate them between 1 and 7 stars.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing that, go sign up to be a podlord or just support us in general over on patreon.com/gbpodcasts.
Yeah, we're pretty far along.
Also, we have an RSS feed now that you can find in the descriptions of every podcast.
Every podcast.
It would be very helpful. Even if you enjoy listening on YouTube, subscribing to our RSS feed is still helpful.
Yeah, it would be super helpful. It should be on most podcasting apps, so iTunes, Google Play Store, stuff, Podbean. Yeah, you could just search up GigaBoots on there, and it should come up along with the defunct Weeaboots podcast. So we've got news. I've got technical business news that doesn't have a lot of ramifications or discussion necessary, so I'm just going to blitz through it right now.
I'm going to eat a hoagie.
Microsoft and Sony announced that they're going to collaborate with their respective... Sorry, I said that backwards, actually. Anyways, Sony and Microsoft are going to collaborate with their respective image sensor and AI divisions, is an announcement they made. So that's cool, strapping even better image sensors to Microsoft's AI. But more importantly than that, for a video gaming podcast, they also noted they're going to work together to integrate Sony's content and video games into Microsoft's Azure service. I've
never heard of Azure.
Or Azure. I don't know. Whatever.
No, I've just never heard of the service.
Oh, it's their cloud service. So Amazon Web Services is a cloud computing platform for many services, such as Netflix. It's just basically their giant cloud computing, and this is Microsoft's version. They use it for cloud, like game save, cloud sync, and they used it for matchmaking on one game. Microsoft lied multiple times at the beginning of this generation about how Crackdown was going to use it for its multiplayer for real-time destruction of the city.
It was going to.
Totally, yeah, that's what it ended up doing.
Is the key word.
God damn it. No, it was never going to do that. It didn't have a real developer for most of this generation, and then at the end, they split the game into two and had two different fucking companies make it.
Allegedly.
No, there is no allegedly. That's what fucking happened.
Oh, damn it. Damn it, you're using your brain again.
The interesting thing here is that Sony's content makes sense for Microsoft's cloud computing platform. That makes sense, They make movies, they make music. Of course, they would want some streaming service, but them integrating their games into Microsoft's Azure streaming service or cloud computing platform is really peculiar, considering they bought Gaikai right before the PlayStation 4, so that way they could do game streaming on the PS4 and PS3 with PlayStation Now. So the thought that they need to work with Microsoft to integrate their game somehow into Microsoft Azure service is very confusing. I'm not sure what's going to come of that, but we'll just have to see. So, Mr. Phil, what news do you have?
So, NetherRealm in trouble again. in addition to
Oh
crunch.
no!
Mm-hmm.
Oh no!
Apparently, a lot of the temps were put on making Mortal Kombat 11's fatalities, which apparently involves looking at very explicit reference material to the point some of them are like, I had to quit. I have post-traumatic stress disorder now. I look at my dog and I see his organs.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely a thing. If I remember some other game, I can't remember if it was The Last of Us or something else. God, what
Dead Space 2 used car crash victims as references to monsters.
That's what it was. Dead Space.
But I feel like there's a couple different. There's 3 major differences to me. 2 of them are valid. One might be me being insane, but we'll see.
Okay,
we'll see what you two think. The first is if you're doing this, like looking at graphic imagery and making fatalities on crunch, sounds like actual torture.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to do anything but look at this violent shit for months.
Right. And doing it like 60 to 100 hours a week. Ugh.
Like, no shit, some people got post-traumatic stress coming out of that. That's just unreal.
Yeah.
Second, why are temps doing this? Why don't you have like a team that have like ascertained, okay, these people can handle this job?
Yeah, that's a really great question.
3 is I feel like if any game, I feel like accurate gore is less of a concern in Mortal Kombat.
What are you talking about? The game that defined this enemy exploded into 7 rib cages needs the most realistic representation of their internal state.
I feel like maybe that poor temp shouldn't be watching a contraband video of a dude being sawed in half at a death camp so that he can make the actor man rips his opponent in half and uses him as a puppet. Haha. Like, maybe you shouldn't force people to do that for what is ultimately a comedic end where accuracy really doesn't serve the end goal that much.
It's complicated, I feel, because I understand the importance of studying things that may not seem necessary for a thing, so that way you can simulate that thing. But at the same time, I think the part where it's temps, right? I think that part is pretty easy to say that is not good.
Part where it's not like, okay, these are our gore guys.
And I think
we pay them really well, and they get time off if they need it.
Right. And I think the part where they're on crazy amounts of crunch is also elevates
like,
this.
Just imagine 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're doing this.
Right.
That's torture. If our government was doing it to prisoners, that would be a human rights violation.
Right. The notion here is if it became too much, they would quit. That's the notion that everybody uses to defend corporations.
That's the notion that every bootlicker slurs out when something like this comes out.
You know, I'm really glad you equated it to that, because I actually have a piece of news I didn't put in here because it's only sort of news. Apparently that YouTube channel Brawlster or whatever that uploads music to their channel that's been extended to 30 minutes.
Burstmer.
Yeah, Burstmer.
The ones where it's like, we put it in a format you've never heard of.
Yes. They apparently were going to, or they had various pieces of music by Nintendo blocked by Nintendo, but no copyright strike put against their channel. So they've decided to delete all of their Nintendo music, is what they've said.
Oh.
Is that news?
I mean, I'm sure somebody was like, okay, I'm going to put whatever on while I study, and now it's gone. And they're like, where'd that go?
Yeah, and that sucks. That sucks for them. But to say Nintendo is being villainous by doing this, I think is a little ludicrous.
I think it's pointless. It's another one of those things that this is less egregious than
the ROM thing.
We're suing this couple for $800 million for having a site full of ROMs. It's in our legal right.
I think it was 9 or 16, but yeah, it's still a ludicrous amount of money they could have never hoped to. $1 million
to the average person, there's no functional difference between $1 million and $800 million.
I agree.
If you're asking them for it.
Fuck, I watched an episode of a podcast the other day where after 4 Tony Hawk games, like the 4th one was about to come out, they were talking to Tony Hawk about royalties, and they're like, hey, so the first game's going on to the greatest hits program. These games are the first 3 games are still in the top 10 sales for these platforms. here's your royalty check. And the whole time Tony Hawk's like, man, I might get $1 million. And then he gets handed a check for $4 million, and he's like, oh shit.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
That's pretty good.
$1 million is, as you just said, functionally to the average person, some imaginary number.
Like, if you tell somebody you got to pay me $1 million versus $100 million, you basically just said, don't worry, I don't need you to fly a mile. I only need you to fly 100 feet.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Which is why anytime budgetary things for like governments or large organizations gets brought up, you can always present the number without any larger context, and people will be outraged. They'll be like, we're spending $13 million? It's like, yeah, but our budget's in the trillions. Like, numbers that big are outrageous, especially without context.
It's like a Twitter thread that got a lot of attention today, where a guy is posits. Would you suck a dick for $1 billion? And my immediate response is, you don't know what $1 billion is. $1 billion would instantly make you one of the 100 richest people in the world.
Right. Like, it would put you up there for sure. So I don't think Bezos needs his dick sucked that bad, but maybe.
Now, we have another piece of important news before I let KZ read his.
Oh, okay.
Now, on my notes, I have this written down as KZ's new vacation spot has been revealed.
Yes.
And I can just feel the low-key dread coming from KZ since he read that.
I'm delighted.
On what the hell bid is he going to run? What is this going to be? So I'm just going to read this headline directly. Taco Bell opening a taco-filled luxury hotel this summer called The Bell. Everyone has a different definition of paradise. For some, it's an oasis centered on relaxation. For others, it's a Taco Bell-themed hotel in sunny California. We're not saying either is right or wrong, but getting to eat endless tacos at the latter does sound pretty good. Well, it turns out such a place will actually exist this summer when the crunchwrap maker opens a luxury hotel experience called The Bell. So let me show you the picture for this article, which is a pool float you can get at this hotel.
I look forward to writing this off on my taxes.
Hold on. Hey, Dan, here's what's happening. We're doing a video. It's you and me sharing a room.
Yeah, no, that absolutely would be an amazing video.
Look at that.
It's a hot sauce packet float.
Let's do this. They'll still get your order wrong in the hotel.
No, it'll be a bar. You'll walk up to like one of those casino style bars of food, and it will just be mislabeled.
Oh my god.
The fucking buffet staffed with tacos that are labeled as crunch wraps.
I just thought that was a very
what
important.
What if the blanket's a tortilla?
I gotta be honest, I'm 100% down for doing the insanely dumb KZ and Dan stay at this and do a vlog
Now,
series.
sadly, it might only be open for a few months.
Yep,
It might be a promotional thing.
that's usually
It's
how
gonna
this
die
goes.
like that Nick Hotel.
There was a Nick Hotel?
That Nick Hotel lasted a little while.
What?
It did.
That was a thing?
Yeah, it was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Lasted for a few years, but then...
It was in the 2000s because you could rent a PS2.
Yeah, they had like themed rooms on the cartoons, and then it just died. It died hard.
Wow, I've never heard of that. That seems
There was
pretty
a good,
cool.
I think it was Defunct Land did a video
Yep,
on
it's a Defunct Land video. Defunct Land, the history of the Nickelodeon Hotel.
There we
a
go.
powerful rat named Charles Entertainment Cheese.
And he did an hour and a half interview with the a former manager of the hotel.
Really?
Yeah, interview with former Nick Hotel manager. Not the best day ever.
They should bring it back in time for Good Burger 2.
But yeah, I think watching a vlog series where anyone goes to this hotel would be delightful. And I think KZ and I are excellent candidates. But that is
I'd rather watch you and KZ go than the Try Guys.
You know what we're gonna go there, and then we're gonna run it to Dan Reichert.
That sounds fucking awesome.
It'll be the one day where he is vulnerable to attack.
And then he's like, they gave me this, and now I have to pay all this taxes again. God damn it.
God damn it. That's a good point.
They forced me here at gunpoint because of that wedding.
Even if we got it gifted to us because we're influencers, we would have to pay it off on our taxes. God,
Yep.
that would suck.
Rip.
Now, KZ, news. You have
All
some
right,
idea.
so we got some new Square Enix news. Dan, have you seen Prelude Rune before?
Prelude Rune. Yeah, is that the Tales of thing?
Is that new Toby Fox game?
Is that the Tales thing?
Yeah, so the lore behind it was they showed it at, I believe, Tokyo Game Show last year. Hideo Baba, who was a producer on the Tales of series until they made a bad one and then he left.
Yeah.
Went to,
What was that?
went to Square and decided to, they put him on this project, which was going to be like a big-ish, I guess, type of like anime RPG thing. And a lot of people
I feel like it was going to be bigger than like Star Ocean 5, but smaller than like DQ11.
But yeah, there's the teaser of it I put in one of our chats here. And a lot of people made fun of the animation, I guess, of the model not looking great. And then we didn't see anything about it. And then Hideo Baba left Square Enix like a month ago around the time they started doing their restructuring of all the divisions. Because they like fused a bunch of them together to focus on games. And then this game has been canceled this week.
That seems really strange that they announced this project. They clearly made some assets, and then when restructuring the company, they were like, cancel it.
I mean, it might be like the Final Fantasy 15 DLC where they canceled that after Tabata left. So Hideo Baba might have just been bye, and then they're like, well, shit, bye. I guess it's canceled.
Yeah, that seems most likely.
Which makes me think that we might see a Square Enix game in 2 years. That's what they had for this, but just not this. Like everything they made got pushed into something else because they don't want to throw it out.
That, and I think they wanted to focus on a lot of other things that they think will move a bit more. Like they already confirmed that the staff on this is just being moved toward other games. So, like FF7 needs more staff, and
it might be like, listen, we can't take 7 years to make games. Let's make fewer games with more staff.
I mean, they're staffing up for the stuff that Luminous is working on and the big AAA game that's probably FF16 that the 14 studio is working on. And Left Alive came out of the Osaka studio, so maybe they want to staff that one up a bit more and make something not that.
That isn't terrible.
Yeah, because it's like their Osaka division made Kingdom Hearts 3 and Left Alive.
Maybe it's just like, we can't do this thing where we put people who don't have experience with AAA development, or double A in this case, on these games and that don't have any experience and just let them work it out. We need to like split them among teams that know so they can learn faster.
So real quick, I want to clarify some terminology and see if you guys agree. I think we should call modern Western AAA quadruple A because that shit's gotten way out of control.
Yes.
And the highest end of Japanese AAA as AAA, and then things below that as,
I don't want to use quadruple A because the first time I ever saw that term was somebody trying to suck off Sony. Like 5 years ago, they were like, Sony's games can't be called AAA anymore. They're so good, they're quadruple A.
One, that's absurd. Two, Sony spends nowhere near as much on their games as these like giant. Anthem cost more than most Sony games.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
I have a different approach. Why don't we call Western AAAs still call them AAAs, but Japanese AAAs are Kino A's?
No, because then people will just say quinoa.
All right. Well, that's what's happening with that game. It's not happening.
We call the AAAs of both of them as AAA, and I'll just use middleware. That's a good term.
Middleware's a thing, though. Middleware's software that helps you make a video game.
I don't think we're gonna get a term. I don't think you're getting one, man. It's not happening. We might have to workshop this in between podcasts. Get some inspiration.
Oh man, let me tell you, man. There's nothing I love more than arguing about what genre a thing belongs in for hours.
You know what is great is having arguments on podcasts on whether or not Final Fantasy VII will continue to be put in chunks or not, despite them continuing to say it'll be in chunks. By the way, it'll still be in chunks.
Wow.
As of a press release released an hour after we finished recording last week's podcast.
Oh, wow. Neat. What did they say?
They sensed it.
What did they say about the chunks? Did they say anything about the amount?
They said it
The
was
price?
multiple parts, and they said the plans that they had originally set have not changed, which means their original plans were, guys, have you seen the Final Fantasy 13 games? We're doing that with Final Fantasy 7, so there'll just be multiple games, likely 3. Each one will be sized appropriately for a full game.
They said a while back that it might be out by 2023 or 2024, which people clucked about. And I was like, obviously that means when it'll be done. So that makes me think, yeah, 3 parts.
I dug up an old article where Nomura said in 2017, yeah, FF7 Remake, at least in a lot of its cutscenes, are more far along than KH3 at this point, which makes me go, I guess it's moving. And at first I was like, I wonder, and now more stuff's coming out on it. I'm convinced we'll have a date because they wouldn't have done it.
So I'm glad that with 3 parts, they won't have to cut incredible things like this.
I assume.
This man's poster about how he really loves industrial fasteners.
Oh no. Bolt.
That's tough.
Look at that bolt.
I also never noticed on the low definition version that this is the inn and somebody just left their gun on the bed.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Thought that was a whoopee cushion. I'm excited to see the game next month because they definitely are almost done with the first chunk because I don't feel like they would come back otherwise.
Yeah. I agree with that statement.
That game is almost done. Games do not look like that if they're not almost done. You can look at Kingdom Hearts 3 to know that.
Yeah, it's like there's a stark difference when Kingdom Hearts 3 came back and you look at that trailer and they're like, oh man, they're pressing so many fucking buttons right now. Because the old trailers, they were just walking around and doing tech demo stuff.
I'm very excited to climb up all 50 of those stairs because there will be no cut content.
Oh, now, Dan,
Oh, no.
I can't believe you go through the stairs instead of breaking through the entrance like a Chad.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of conversations that happen in the 50 flights of stairs.
Oh, right.
I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
what's going to happen is they will make that a walk and talk segment.
Yep, for 50 flights of fucking stairs.
Where,
Hey, do you remember
Tifa
Kingdom
gets
Hearts
canceled.
2? That staircase scene? We'll get one of those, only going up.
Oh, no.
and Tifa will get canceled for the things she says to Barrett during that section.
I'm sure they won't retranslate that at all.
Surely not. But yeah, that was
it
just
doesn't
a
even
minor...
make sense there. Why did she say it? What were they thinking?
I think I mean they just used that word
It was the
real
90s.
free up until about 10 years ago, 5 years ago if you're certain companies that localize things.
I'm just saying it didn't make sense in that scene. Like,
It really didn't, because people
Because-
keep posting it, and I'm like, why would she say it?
I'm gonna have to go through the stairs on this playthrough and see what he could have conceivably said for her
Yeah,
to
It's,
say that.
it's not worth it.
I'm
Just-
pretty sure he says the exact
didn't
same
deserve
thing.
it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure in the video by Kotaku that, what is it, Tim Rogers video?
Yeah.
He's still just talking about how he's dying because his legs are killing him from running up the stairs. And then he says a joke about I can't believe I'm not going to see my son again. Just like he does in the US. And then she calls him retarded, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, can you stop being a retard and climb?
Yeah, see, that's why I'm like, why the fuck? I don't understand how they totally
what?
matches up with the content of the game at all. Clearly some localizers just what's a good insult?
Well, it's like somebody was playing on my timeline was playing Lunar 2 and just posts screen caps of that word.
Uh-huh.
It's like there's a lot of words you could have used there, but you sure used that one.
Yeah.
Maybe they were really bad at math at some counter or functionally did not mentally work their way through an issue. I still don't see how it fits in this Barrett scene with climbing stairs. Melodramatic does not equate to that word in any dictionary.
Nope.
But whatever. I digress. I'm not here to shit talk the translator of Final Fantasy VII. But man, imagine if I was.
It's a classic game.
Yes.
A true classic. I have some classic games to talk about, though, because the Sega Genesis Mini, which has 40 games on it, has announced his next wave of games. I didn't pull up the other list because I feel like if I'm reading 20, it's crazy. I might do it when we have all 40. But we have 10 new games, including Mega Man The Wily Wars, Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition.
Okay, that's good.
Sonic Spinball.
Special Champion Edition is hilarious.
Phantasy Star 4, Beyond Oasis, Ghouls and Ghosts, Alex Kidd in Enchanted Castle, Golden Axe, Vector Man, and Wonder Boy in Monster World.
So Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition is really funny because the second or the third Street Fighter 2 on SNES was a exclusive, like Nintendo paid to make it exclusive. And Sega was like, we'll just make another edition for the Genesis that just happens to have every single feature the exclusive Nintendo one does, and it's the Special Champion Edition. And I'm like, wow, you're
special
sure
little champion.
You're really lucky this was in the time when nobody fucking noticed nothing.
But yeah, I think this is a good set of 10 games. I can't believe the Wily Wars is being included.
Free it from the fucking Sega channel.
Yep. The definitive way to play those first few Mega Man games.
I do hope that they put Monster Girl in this because it's translated. They put it on the PS3, and I assume that has to just be a ROM and a wrapper.
Yeah, there's hope. I mean, we got 10 more coming. This is a stacked mini console, though.
Yeah, it has the best lineup of any of them.
There has to be something bad with this because it's looking way too good.
I mean, Sonic Spinball's right there, KZ.
Yeah.
No, I mean something like the UI explodes if you keep it on for more than 5 minutes.
I think Sega just has to try harder for people's money than Nintendo does, because Nintendo is synonymous with nostalgia for some people. So yep. I don't think they have to try nearly as hard as Sega does. Sega, they're out here. They know they owned the U.S. market that generation, and they're like, hey, we still need to earn it nowadays. Let's make them remember why we were great. And honestly, with the picks they have here, they did a good job.
Yeah, I think the SNES Classic had, 18 games?
The SNES Classic, had somewhere between 18 and 21.
Yeah. It had 18 initially until I, touched it a little bit and had to look at its innards.
Oh, no.
Don't worry about it.
I actually don't own a SNES Classic. I own the NES Classic, which was given to us by Acidia, who stopped using it. Thanks, Acidia. And we own a PlayStation Classic.
I like the SNES Classic a lot.
The SNES Classic's pretty good. I played some of it with my brother. The input latency isn't that bad.
It seems good. Unfortunately, I have a horrible disease crawling over me, and that keeps making me want to buy a Super NT.
Oh, that's quite unfortunate.
It's called
no one can help
Chad.
you there. Oh no. So we had a small Nintendo Direct. I want to hit the small bit of news before I hit into the big Mario Maker stuff. So at the end of their presentation, they're starting a promotion until July 31st called Nintendo Switch Game Vouchers, where if you pay $100, they give you 2 vouchers and you can use them to just redeem Switch games digitally, which means for $100 you can get 2 $60 games.
I'm probably going to do this because one of them is Super Mario Maker 2 and another is Astral Chain.
Yeah, so what it looks like almost all of their first party stuff is included here, and they said that 3 Houses and a couple of other games that they have coming out count toward it, and once you buy them, you keep them for a year. So you have a year to redeem those passes, so you could buy both now and then get Mario Maker and then wait for something that's still a little farther out and then redeem your second one.
You want to wait for Animal Crossing, which will probably be at the end of the year or early next year. You can do that.
I mean, have they even announced that this has that these vouchers expire at any point?
I believe they have, because I don't know how I would have learned it otherwise. The offer, you stop buying them on July 31st, and once you've bought them, you have 12 months to redeem them. Also, it's exclusive to the online program, so you have to be a Nintendo Online member to be able to buy them.
Either way, I feel like there are probably 4 Nintendo games you'll want by this time next year, probably. If you're heavy into Nintendo stuff, you've got Animal Crossing, Mario Maker, and at least 2 more coming, I think.
Fire Emblem Three Houses,
Right.
Astral Chain.
Exactly. So there's 4 right there.
That's basically my plan. I'm gonna get Mario Maker 2, and I'm gonna wait till when it's close to coming out because Fire Emblem will likely be available by then, and I'll just redeem both of those. But I thought that was a neat thing because it came at the same time as the Mario Maker 2 deal, where for $70 you can get the game bundled with 12 months of the online, so the online's only $10 for a year. And if you already have the online, that just stacks onto your account, which you're gonna need. You're gonna need the online for all the Mario Maker 2 stuff that they have.
Yes, I will definitely need the online for that.
Yeah. So Super Mario Maker 2 had some stuff. What's up, Phil? Did you have something?
This demonstration for Mario Maker 2 is like Nintendo just points at the screen and goes, Mario Maker 1 was pathetic trash, and here's what we have for you now, the real game.
I love flexing.
They made a game worth getting game. Imagine you make Game of the Year,
Yep.
and your next game not only also wins Game of the Year, you get the most improved reward. But your last game was still Game of the Year.
It was insane what they've shown with Super Mario Maker 2 on that. First, you got your story mode, where you have to build Peach's castle by getting a lot of coins. You do that by completing missions that are just play these levels that Nintendo's level designers made. Over 100 of them will be included in the story mode. You get to like talk to the various tools in the game, like the eraser dog, which I thought was neat. They have the Mario 3D World template that has its own tool specific to that template.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed like well over a dozen different things specific to it. All levels have a night mode, which gives you gimmicks that are from Mario the Lost levels. So if you liked poison mushrooms and other weird shit, like using the sky template to use anti-gravity, that's some of the stuff night mode can do. They added slopes.
The poison mushroom is even more terrifying because it tracks you.
Yeah, it tracks you. It looks evil.
I think it might be able to float.
Maybe.
So I think people are probably going to make levels where you just run from a mushroom the entire level.
Oh no! Because all you can do is just make a ceiling so the person can't jump really high to try and avoid it.
If it's constantly tracking, it might float and then like loop around back towards you.
Oh no. Speaking of floating night mode, if you do it on the default stage, makes it so all Goombas float, just cuz. So there's a lot of weird stuff with that. We got slopes, we got scrolling, we got weird like claw machine things where you jump on them and you use your momentum to swing. Got seesaws, a bunch of different stuff.
You got a race car.
Yeah, you got the Koopa car, Meowser.
There's so much stuff from 3D World, it's unreal.
Yeah, 3D World makes it really interesting because I feel like they showed a spot for an extra template, and it makes me think that template will do the same thing, where they say all the tools, most of the tools here are specific to this game, so they can really go all out, which I imagine they'll just make a DLC at some point.
Either or it's just hidden and they haven't announced it yet, because E3 is before this thing comes out.
It would be amazing if they have a hidden template and then they reveal it during the Mario Maker 2 Invitational Tournament they're doing on June 8th.
That would be a good time to introduce it. I hope it's Super Mario Brothers 2. That's the only thing I can think of it being, unless there's like a weird Odyssey template where shit goes off.
I'd love if it's just like, it's the same as the other 3D Mario ones, but we tried to make it look like Mario 64.
Now, you forgot the Angry Sun, KZ. The Angry Sun is back, and he looks disturbing in the new Super Mario Brothers style.
Oh yeah, he looks insane. Oh, look at this nightmare.
I'm not a fan.
It's like, look at the Aztec god.
I'm not a fan.
Yep. I think the most insane part of this whole thing is that they're adding online versus and co-op up to 4 players, all on the same screen, either working together to beat a level or racing to beat it first, which means, oh great, at one point, you make Dan angry enough, he forces you to play the levels he had to play. It's one of these days, he's gonna be like, that's it, we play your Mario Maker levels live with Movie Suit. And You just drag everyone through these awful stages.
I mean, it would be nice to have a new mode or gimmick to this. I really appreciate that. I am excited for the series, and I love that they're going to do the single-player stuff. I'm also really excited to do offline versions of this series because we've been doing live Mega Man Maker for a while now, and as fun as that is, there's definitely a different tone. And it's much easier to do the offline episode.
True. The videos are a lot, when you get to prep everything in advance. And
yeah.
And there will certainly be no shortage of levels in this game.
God knows it.
Oh,
but I hope that it
this
doesn't
isn't
go
powered up.
I just hope it doesn't go insane Kaizo like the Mega Man community has. Like, everyone's making 40-minute levels nowadays.
Well, considering there'll probably be 15 million people playing this, I think you'll get a good spread.
Oh,
True.
There was one feature I did not mention that's going to ruin you.
What?
The conditions. Beat the level as Super Mario. Defeat every enemy.
What?
Collect 50 coins.
What?
It's like shit like that.
Well, that's...
And collect
really
50
neat.
coins, but the only coin in the level is this giant 50 coin that's surrounded by spikes.
Okay, that was really neat until you said that.
Yeah, there's a 10 coin, a 30 coin, and a 50 coin now.
Yeah, they're big giant coins, but they have added an insane amount of stuff.
You can make levels scroll straight up now. You can make them scroll up diagonally and then down diagonally. You have complete control over the forced scrolling.
That's really
and
great.
water level controls, so you can
You can make
set it
levels
so
where
it
the
can go
water
up.
rises and falls like some of the Super Mario World levels.
Or lava.
Or if you're using the night template for the forest, the water is poisonous.
They've added quite a bit, and most importantly, the multiplayer version allows me to play Super Mario World Toadette. They had to make a lot of new sprites for this game.
Yeah, I'm really glad that this isn't just a port, and that it is, in fact, them just making a much better game out of what was already a great game.
I have never seen flexing of this level.
They brought back Koji Kondo to do music.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
they sure
true.
did.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's probably my most anticipated game, right behind Bloodstained, which I will blitz a week before this comes out.
Nintendo has sure been flexing on people a lot lately.
Yep, they're muscles.
Well, it helps when you're making games for a hardware profile that's a generation behind, and you're also one of the most skilled developers in the world.
And everyone wants the thing.
Yeah, you can hyper polish. When you're going to sell a few million copies, you can spend a lot of money and hyper polish a ton and staff up in a way that effectively makes more content because it's a lower graphics profile. And yet their games always look really great.
They even have co-op building in that.
Oh, really?
You can get two people building shit at the same time.
That is incredible. Now Bob and I can make levels together.
Yeah, you guys are known for building the levels, right?
Uh-huh.
Hey, when you guys download the level because you give up on the live stream, both of you can go in and look for where the room is that the person used to skip the whole level.
Have I mentioned that we're going to have a tighter timer on this series than fucking Mega Man Maker?
You might do a lot of versus stuff, because from what they showed in the footage, it looks like, because it's a race, they give you little respawn points so you can actually continue pushing through the level.
Oh, that's neat.
Without having to redo this 20-minute level that is designed with 8 keys and 3 bosses. But yeah, that's about it.
It was a jam-packed 15 minutes, and the narrator lady called Boom Boom a large lad.
She talked to me like I was 3, Dan.
I didn't watch it, so I'm going to have to assume that this is an accurate description.
Large lad.
So, Blizzard is desperate.
Oh no!
They're bringing back Thrall. If you don't know who Thrall is, fucking learn about Warcraft, I guess.
Or don't.
I played Hearthstone.
He's a big popular character who went away at the end of the last big World of Warcraft plot, and then they went, fuck, nobody likes anything we're doing. Activision is soul-sucking us. We gotta bring Thrall back. We gotta.
Didn't they bring back the big purple dude with the horns and the green tattoos or whatever?
Yeah, Illidan.
Yeah, didn't they bring that dude back?
Yeah, he's doing something. I think he's supposed to be the great hero who saves everybody now.
Ooh, that's raw.
I think what exactly happened is there's a part in one of the books where a seer looks into his future and says, "You're the big hero that's going to save anybody." And he just looks at her and goes, "What? I'm an asshole." But here's how fucked up addiction is. I haven't played this game in like 5 years.
No.
Just looking at this trailer made me want to go resub.
No.
It was brief.
Don't.
It was like under 30 seconds.
Stay strong,
But
Mr. Feel.
Addiction is bad.
It is bad, which is why every time KZ jokes about Overwatch, I want to shoot him.
It's okay. You have other vices in the form of fighting games.
But I just think it's funny that Blizzard is like, oh God, bring them back, bring everybody back. We're gonna find some way to. They will find some way to bring Arthas back. I have no hesitation in saying that. Also, they're gonna kill Sylvanas, I guess, because World of Warcraft has this real problem where if you picked the Horde, fuck you, you have to kill all your leaders as bosses because we have no other storytelling beats. None of the Alliance guys are ever evil. It's only the Horde ones. Netflix is having their own E3 panel this year.
Oh.
Because they did that Black Mirror stream game about your mom running on batteries.
And that final Telltale game, the Minecraft thing, also ran on Netflix, I believe.
True.
Yeah, they had got a Netflix version, so they're like, we're gonna do a panel in a booth about
choose your own adventures.
About doing more of that.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff's neat. I like choose your own adventure stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking about making one for the channel.
Mom ran
honestly.
on batteries.
I wasn't gonna make one that was that on the nose.
Too bad the choose your own adventure on YouTube is dead in some ways.
Yeah, it's not as convenient to make.
And then YouTube was like, we might do that in the future, and everybody was like, you had it until you killed it.
Yeah, because it used to be that you could pop up with annotations in the middle of a video to click over to another thing. Now you have to make every video end. You can't upload the thing as one giant video with timestamps. You have to use your end cards, which is inconvenient.
They so many videos are unlisted, tied to those choose your own adventures, and they're just gone.
Yeah.
They're locked in a void prison.
Yep, it's great.
So continuing the trend of things from Taiwan, ratings in Taiwan being leaked, which tells us games are coming. Ghostbusters Remastered starring rookie Ghostbuster Brad Shoemaker.
I don't know what this means,
I guess it's happening.
Dan.
I will show you what this means right now.
I've seen this all week. I've been wondering and waiting.
This is the main character in the Ghostbusters game that's being remastered.
Okay, he looks like a cross between Alex and Brad from Giant Bomb.
Yes, he does.
He looks more like him in the game because I played it not that long ago. I think while we were doing this podcast, and I'm just like, that he looks so much
It's
like
Alex
Shoemaker. It's distracting.
Body.
So that game's good.
I'm sure Bob will be excited. Bob is actually a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Did he ever play that game?
I think so, yeah.
It's the best Ghostbusters 3 we're ever gonna get.
Yeah, I heard a lot of praise. For that game when it came out. People saying this is the real movie. Back when there was no option for any other movie. They're like, this is the one we're getting.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's still no option for any other movie. Let's move on before we question what Daniel
What are you
just
talking
said.
about? They're making that new Ghostbusters movie.
Yes, they are. I'm not. Sony announces a new entry in an old franchise is the most brain dead headline. I don't even have a reaction anymore. Kind of like they leaked that trailer with the music and everything missing, so you just get to hear the mouth sounds of the cast of new Men in Black.
It's like,
yep.
I don't think we needed another Men in Black.
I like Chris Hemsworth making weird noises in the void.
Huh?
So Toki is coming out June 6th. Semicolon also exists because I didn't know this shit was happening.
What is Toki?
It is a high definition remake of that monkey game from the Genesis and the NES that was in the arcades, where the wizard comes down and turns you into a monkey and steals your girlfriend. So you have to spit at enemies across many levels.
This fucking game. I do not enjoy this game, and I don't understand people who enjoy it, but whatever. More power to you, I guess.
When's
it's coming out.
Tomba 3?
Maybe this is just the PlayStation 4 and PC version. I think it was on Switch already, but I didn't even know. Nobody told me about this thing.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this at all, but yeah, it looks like it came out last year on the Switch. Oh, God, its art style.
It looks kind of like the Wonder Boy remakes, except way worse with way less animation.
The crazy thing is, I get what they're going for, because the original version also had your ape had an oversized head. But somehow seeing it in this illustrated higher res version, the main character just looks like the dog from JoJo's, the fool. Like the head's too
Oh no,
human
Iggy?
for a fucking animal. Yeah. Ugh. This is terrible. I need to stop looking at this. Talk about anything
Okay,
else.
let's move on.
Yeah, please.
Square Enix trademarked some Mana stuff, including a name for a collection.
Great. I would love to feel anything. Anything
no
would be
sign
nice.
of what is going to be in this. I really hope it's just everything up until Legend, because God, I want an excuse to play Legend again. Not that I need an excuse to play Legend again, but I would like that more than just here's 1 through 3.
You know, Voxandra, a friend of the channel, actually streamed through Legend earlier this year. I never beat it because oh God, I hate owning up to this. I accidentally deleted my brother's save file because of how the fucking save system works is fucked for co-op play.
Oh.
Yeah, so we lost all of our progress when we were like 90% through the game.
That game is weird because there's 3 plots you can do, and you only have to do one of them to unlock the end. But of course, you want to do all 3 because they're all Kino.
Right.
Rebecca Sugar also thinks so.
Oh, yeah, no. I tuned into Vox's stream and I was like, oh my fucking lord. The part where...
I love races of people named after gyms that have gym cores that they die if they're damaged, and also one of them cries tears that heal people.
Yep. Oh boy, that's real great. It's fine. Steven Universe makes up for it by having such a much better art style than Legend of Mana, right, Phil?
No.
It's okay. Steven Universe also cribs from DBZ, which makes it great, right, Phil?
Do we have more news?
I'm more okay with it cribbing from DBZ than it cribbing from Revolutionary Girl Utena, which is like, wow, that's not a good comparison you're forcing me to draw.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Look.
So this is a really cool piece of news.
Good.
Samurai Showdown news.
Cool.
If you pre-order the game or buy it before 5 days after it comes out, I think June 30th is the cutoff, you just get the season pass for free.
Yeah, there's a reason they did this, and it's called Fighting Layer EX. They realized that shit was not gonna fly. Where they're like, "Here, this is a $60 game."
I mean, they didn't make Fighting Layer EX.
Yeah, I know. Fighting Layer EX is an example of that sort of lower tier of fighter, because obviously Sam Show is
didn't have like a $40 version, and then the $60 version you got the season pass.
The $40 version is kind of fucked up in how it works. But yes,
you get less Gogi.
Yeah, you get less Gogi, a system that shouldn't have been in the fucking game. But
the Gogi system is hilarious. I never want to play the Gogi system.
Not to shit on Arika, but Samurai Showdown is a real game.
Samurai Showdown does not rank with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, and I don't say that as a person who hates Sam Show.
Yeah, I think
Sam
there's a
Show.
power gap here.
There's a huge power gap, and if you look at
would put
which
Fighting
one,
EX Layer, you would put Samurai Showdown a good bit above it, and then you'd put AAA above that.
You would put fucking Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat miles away from either of these two games. Is my point.
I mean, not Street Fighter no more.
In when it comes to mind share, yeah. When it comes to the amount of people who even fucking know what it is, absolutely.
I just think they could get away with not giving this away. I mean, it's like one of the most played games at EVO this year.
I think
I wasn't even saying a notoriety. I was saying like in like the scale of what they're building, as opposed to like, because there's a lot of who's for both of those games, for EX Layer and Sam.
Yeah,
Show.
nobody knows what EX. I feel like there's a huge power gap even between those two.
Yeah.
I feel like
I didn't go to Peter Piper Pizza for my 12th birthday party, and there was a a Street Fighter EX3, a Street Fighter. That's our version of Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, okay.
We don't have Chuck E. Cheese here in New Mexico. We have Peter Piper Pizza.
Okay,
cool, dude. Yeah,
that's
all right.
fucking weird, but all right. Look, I got a PS2 at launch. Really, my older brother did. Anyway. And Street Fighter EX3 is what we fucking played, so I knew what that was. But look, Sam Show is the same person who knows who Skullomania is the same person who's hype about Sam Show. There are a lot of people who don't fucking know about the legacy of Samurai Showdown, who don't understand if they should even be excited for the new one. I think.
But on the other hand, Dan,
I think real quick,
South America.
I don't want to talk about that because I don't know console sales over there. Because shit gets weird in certain countries.
So the thing is,
Like where the PlayStation cost $1,200.
SNK arcade machines were always cheaper than Capcom ones.
Yeah.
So just in all of South America, KOF and Samsho were infinitely more common than Street Fighter.
I still think this is a good lesson about incentivizing people to buy your game when it's brand new at $60 because...
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a great idea.
Right.
I'm just surprised they're doing it.
And that's why I related it to Fighting EX Layer earlier, because giving some people some reason to buy your game at launch for $60 when they're sitting on the fence is smart. Because I know a lot of people who probably would have just been like, I'll wait till Samurai Showdown's price drops.
Please enjoy this vintage meme about fighting game fans.
If you keep introducing more images, I have to cut into this fucking YouTube video.
You don't have to cut these in. They can
We can just
Google fighting game fans.
No, now we do. King of Fighter fans is gonna destroy me.
This is insane. This is an insane thing. But I like the part where Tekken fans are clowns because they love juggling.
No! Virtual Fighter fans is gonna make me bust.
That's terrible.
Oh, man. Well, now that we filled up the show notes significantly.
Please look forward to 2 months from now when we end one of these podcasts and I say, Dan, do you want to play Samurai Showdown?
I'm thinking about it.
You know, I've had Mortal Kombat 11 sitting over there since it came out, and I still haven't had a fucking opportunity to play a single second of it. Castlevania is killing me. Hey, what?
You should, speaking of buying games, you should get that new Sonic Racing game. It looks cool.
All right.
So here's the most baffling news this week. Blades of Time is coming out on Switch.
And it's $20.
Blades of Time, the fact that they spent the effort to port that fucking garbage pile of a nothing to anything in the year
Aren't you
2019.
being a little mean?
No. I have never been less mean.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
Blades of Time is in the short list of things that can compete with Lords of Shadow 2 for the worst game of last gen.
It is pretty fucking bad. I don't know that I would put it in the same list with that, but I also haven't played enough of it to speak from a place of knowledge.
It's Yaiba tier. It's on the same level as Yaiba.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I also wouldn't put Yaiba on Lords of Shadow 2 list, but it's the closest. My list of terrible action games last year goes Lords of Shadow 2 at the bottom, Yaiba above it. We aren't counting Mirror Fate because it's on a portable. But yeah, Blades of Time, the pseudo sequel to X Blades, is an incredibly awful game.
X Blades, where I think it was an Eastern European company made X Blades, and the protagonist has the most unbelievable here's how you draw anime book design I've ever seen.
So you haven't played the game Blade Kitten, is what I'm hearing.
I own it on Steam. I forced somebody else to play it. That's why I own it.
Oh no!
Blade Kitten.
The funny thing about X Blades is that the original cover just featured her ass center on the cover.
Oh, that's true.
It was like, no. And then they just turned her around in the exact same pose.
Yep. So, KZ, this is Blade Kitten.
It's based on a comic.
It's the first time Bob and I had a really heated argument in GigaBoots history. It was mostly off the air. Bob, for some reason, really liked that game when it came out. It is fucking trash.
You should give it another chance. It's $3 on Steam. Everybody should give it a chance.
We'll give it a
chance. Not even on sale.
We'll give it a chance.
$3.
Not everyone should give it a chance. It's a really, really bad game. But we'll give it a chance. But I'm not going to play the Steam version, which is vastly better than the console version.
No, but you have to because Episode 2 came out on Steam in 2015.
God, you're right. Son of a bitch.
You posted pictures of that, and I thought you were talking about the that one DS game where it's a ninja for some reason.
I have no idea what... Oh,
that's a really good roguelike. Izuna, the Legend of the Unemployed Ninja. It's a very good roguelike.
I recommend people can look this up. You don't have to add it. You need to look up the trailer for this game from Atlas USA. They made that shit with Windows Movie Maker. It looks insane.
That's great.
How you doing? How you doing, Dan?
Blade Kitten's terrible. X-Blades is terrible. Blades of Time is super terrible.
Blades of Time is funny because they clearly designed the exact same kind of character, but then people didn't like that anime shit. Let's make it realistic. So you have like a realistically rendered anime girl as the protagonist, and it's just so terrible looking.
Yep.
Also, she gets you get a gun, and it turns like in third person shooting when you're shooting it, and she like her legs like splay out and go insane, and her upper body doesn't move at all when she's aiming the gun.
That's incredible.
So, hey,
What?
I had this moment
Uh-huh.
where I woke up
Uh-huh.
and I saw a Nintendo website was like, hey,
Yeah.
Bayonetta 3 is confirmed to have news coming next week.
Okay.
Hideki Kamiya said so.
Next week in game magazines and multiple places reported this.
I can't believe it.
Okay. What's the actual news?
That isn't happening.
Yeah.
Hideki Kamiya responds to every single question of when will we hear more. He says next week in game magazines.
And people thought he was being legitimate and posted news stories saying it's happening, guys.
This is how you know, everybody. This is how you know what is and is not a real game journalism. Someone who falls for this shit is not a real game journalist.
Rip Nintendo enthusiast, I believe, did one. They did a story on that.
Yeah, it's
The Nintendo ones are always like the clowniest.
I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Castlevania 64 is a great game, way better than Symphony of the Night.
Oh my god, stop!
No, I'll never stop referencing that because it's insane.
I love that. It's like, no, I will dig deeper. This blade will
Into
go
the
through
hate.
your heart.
It's just you learn something about people the day you have to confront that Castlevania 64 reviewed well anywhere and Symphony of the Night reviewed poorly in a lot of places, or some places. Let me put it that way. Some places. Too many places. Ugh.
But Symphony of the Night's bad. It's only 2D. I want the good 3D one that's totally not a tech demo.
As someone who's really fascinated by the cutting edge of tech and thought it was the most amazing shit in the world that the PlayStation could do 3D, my favorite games were fucking 2D. Mega Man 8 and Symphony are both 2D games. It's fucking insane to me that people can't weigh both options in their fucking heads. Just like I am nowadays, where it's like, hey, I really like these games that like are amazing, technical whiz bang and like really over the top and doing things that haven't been done before, but I also like games that are really polished and feel great and are 2D gameplay. I don't people suck. Hey KZ, what do you have going on in the next week?
I've resumed putting up videos, which is probably a bad idea because there's not many of them and I'm running out. While doing this marathon at the same time, and I don't know what to do, Dan. I don't know what to do, but we will continue streaming Kingdom Hearts while I live in ignorance.
Cool, great. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. I guess
put my
I'll,
head down. You can talk to Phil.
I'll go ahead and say what I'm doing over the next week.
Okay.
In the next week on GigaBoots, you can expect videos about Castlevania, Legacy of Darkness, Circle of the Moon, Harmony Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, Lament of Innocence, DreamMix TV World Fighters, Dawn of Sorrow, Curse of Darkness, Portrait of Ruin, Order of Shadows, Order of Ecclesia, and Castlevania Judgment.
What the hell's Order of Shadows?
Mr. Field, what do you have going on in the next week?
No, you answer me. What the hell's Order of Shadows?
Oh, and also we're doing a Harmony of Despair stream and a Portrait of Ruin stream.
Yeah.
All in the next
and
week.
what's Order of Shadows?
Order of Shadows is an amazing phone game made in Java for like Nokia phones.
Java.
It's incredible.
Oh no.
It's so good. I don't know if we're going to do a complete
bad.
playthrough, but I hope so. No, it's great. Psst, don't tell them, but it's fucking trash. I won't.
Bob isn't here to go, no, guys, Dan's lying to you again.
Good.
Don't play Gungrave.
This is exactly why I sacrificed Bob to the pit. Hey, Gungrave is his fault. He's the one who brought it into my life.
Also, Gungrave is fine.
Look.
Do you like
the
pressing
thing-
the square button and seeing men shoot? Then it's fine.
I do like seeing men shoot.
The most important thing you should ever learn about Bob video games is that he is the biggest sucker for action games and chuny shit. That is it. That is all you need to know.
I can respect it.
Nano Blade is good.
It's a lot. Nano Breaker? Yeah, that game's something. Mr. Field, what do you have going on over the next week?
Well, Mega May will be finishing sometime in the next, when this comes out, I guess it would be 11-ish days.
Yeah.
ISP's been fucking me a little bit.
Oh.
Yup.
Very upset.
Yeah.
I've rectified this by making a $350 impulse purchase to get a modem, and we'll be going up to fiber.
God, I'm jealous.
Watching those streams, I could feel you. I was like, oh no. My
So-
poor lad.
I only have 3 left, and after that I will do something. if we reach our incredible stream goal, which is only like $140 away, I will play Mighty Number 9. Just go through the whole thing, hurt myself.
If you do that, I'll be there as long as it's not a Wednesday.
I knew this was going to happen. He's like, oh man, I love pain.
I can't not be there for Mighty Number 9.
If we don't, I don't know what I'll do. Maybe I'll do my own Mega Maker stream and suffer in a different way.
I feel like I just told these people I would show up for a Mighty Number 9 stream. You're gonna get that money.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the moment I flick it on, it's gonna be like ding. I'll be like, oh. The good part is that you can tell me all the exploits to get through it really fast.
It's true.
God knows I've only played that.
Most
game
people
once.
don't even know that the R2 and jump button makes you do a weird turnaround jump in midair where you have a billion iframes, so you can just jump through bosses.
Ooh.
It's a weird.
Wait, isn't that the backwards jump where you shoot down diagonally, or
that's if you hit R2 in square.
I only knew about the crouch dash that you need for one section that they didn't just take out.
Yeah.
And the diagonal shoot.
They eventually put a sign in the game that says hold down and push R1 to dash underneath this.
You know what instead of just raising that turbine like an inch.
Well, yeah, because it was a game design thing. The thing is they released that level in the beta and lots of people, myself included, couldn't figure out how to get past that point. So we were like, what the fuck is with this? And then later they were like, I guess we need to add a thing that says hold down while you push dash.
In the final game.
Yeah, that's smart. Very smart. That game's incredible. I look forward to you having to play it. What are you going to play through on the hardcore mode where you can only take one hit?
Hell no.
Hey, KZ, have you ever played Mighty Number 9?
No.
Maybe you should give it a chance.
It's a good thing I don't have a show for that. You bamboozled me once.
It's true.
It won't happen again.
I don't think there's any way to bamboozle you into playing Mighty Number 9. You know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
The bouncer, I felt like there was a shred of like genuine nice guy feelings that were a facade.
The Bouncer's a good game.
Play Mighty Number 9 if you want to play a platformer where they gave you a ground pound and a ledge grab because it controls so poorly and you can't be precise at all with your jumps.
I'm not here.
Yeah, no, it's really bad. The worst part is if you, and I'm warning you about this feel, if you hit down within, I think it's 5 frames of doing your air dash, it will change it to be a downward air dash and you will die.
Wait, can you say that again? I beat this game and never encountered this. Please tell me again.
if you hit the dash button in midair, even if you start dashing, if you push down afterward, even while not holding the dash button, you will down air dash and fucking fall into a pit. So that's great.
That's
There are some moments in that game. It does some things, as it turns out. It's just too bad you're probably gonna play the PC version and not the Wii U or 360 or PS3 versions, which hit peak
correct.
Kino.
It will be the PC version.
I like drinking that sewage water unfiltered, you know?
The graphical options will do things in this version. Actually, I don't know if they do.
That's not the Mighty Number 9 experience I know.
I love to have anti-aliasing options on my console ports that do nothing.
Yeah, and bloom options that do nothing. God, that game runs at like 20 frames per second on Wii U. Anyways, so yeah, I hope you hit that stream goal and I'll join you for that. But for now, we're going to go and not die. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. This show, like our other podcasts, is only possible with the generous time our co-hosts have given to us and the equipment we've bought to make it higher quality and easier to produce. Please consider supporting our podcast series on our GigaBoots podcast Patreon and look forward to more gamer premonitions and Big Think Dimension in the future.